Well, let's just jump right into it real quick. We're going to talk about Kingsman 2. Did you see the first Kingsman at all, or no?
Okay, so interesting story about that. Like I recently took a trip to Austin and I was supposed to watch that movie. I
Mm-hmm.
had like three different movies set up, that Split and something else. I can't remember what it was. I didn't watch any of those because they just couldn't hold my interest long enough.
Really?
Like it might be a great movie, but it has rather slow build up in my opinion. And I don't know. I was watching it with my this girl I was on the flight with. We were both just looking at it like, yeah, this isn't it.
Mm. Okay. Well, I was a really big fan of the first Kingsman, partly because it was like that throwback to having fun with a spy movie again. Because you saw with movies like the original James Bond movies how it had that kind of like a little bit of that goofy element in it, and then over time that kind of got parodied with movies like Undercover Brother and Austin Powers. So then it made the spy movie genre kind of turn around again and then go more darker, especially with movies like Jason Bourne. And then you see, like, obviously with the newer Bond movies, like, with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, all the newer Bond movies, like, they took inspiration more from the Bourne movies being a little bit more darker, a little bit more grittier, just like the Bourne movies was. So the King's movies were kind of like, it's like you can still have fun with these type of movies again. Like, you don't have to take them all super seriously. Um, and so that's what I really enjoyed with that element of the first one that I thought was really good. And then with this one coming back for the sequel, Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle, I just feel like it's everything wrong with a sequel where it's just over bloated and overstuffed and, suffers from a little bit of that sequelitis, where it's trying to do everything like the first one, but trying to top it, but still kind of trying to just do the same thing, not really trying to do anything big or new again, like how the first one was. So in this one, you have the Kingsmen who've been destroyed by Julianne Moore's character, and during their destruction, they figure they have a allied force in the Statesmen, which is basically like the American version of the Kingsmen, and they have to work with them to stop Moore's character, who's this woman who runs the largest drug cartel in the entire world. And returning is pretty much everybody from Kingsman 1 again, pretty much. I mean, you got Terry Edgerton coming back. Colin Firth, who supposed, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he comes back for this one since they announced it. He's in the trailer. He's on the poster. Like, he's basically everywhere. And his character was supposed to have died in the first movie. And then the way they bring his character back for this is just like, I mean, it's just really, really dumb, and it undercuts undercuts the emotional beat of that first movie, which that also is something that sometimes a sequel does, a weaker sequel does, is it undercuts the first movie, and this one does that by bringing his character back, and the whole thing they have with his plot line and him kind of trying to figure out who he is just it's just kind of really silly and is just like really pointless. Like I said, Julianne Moore, who's Poppy, that's her name in the film. Like I said, she's the leader of the Golden Circle, the largest drug cartel in the entire world. And then you have the Statesmen, who are the big new added characters into this. Halle Berry and Jeff Bridges, and Channing Tatum and Pedro Pascal, who are there, the Statesmen. And if you're looking for Channing Tatum in this movie a lot, he's barely even in this film because he's in this film for a total of like 5 minutes. So if you're looking for him to
Of
come in,
course.
yeah. So because they marketed him heavily in the trailers and the marketing, but he's barely even in this movie. It's really more Pedro Pascal, he's the main statesman they're with most of the time. Halle Berry, if you're looking for her to do something, she's basically the equivalent to what Mark Strong's character is with the Kingsman, where he, how he's like the Q, the guy on the computer, who makes all the gadgets and stuff. She's basically that for the Statesman, like what Mark Strong is for the Kingsman. She doesn't really do much but stand behind a computer with glasses and type. I mean, that's what she mainly does in it. Jeff Bridges is doing ultimate Jeff Bridges, where he talks like he doesn't have a tongue in his mouth, and he's doing that. Yeah, he's doing that ultimate, Southern thing he does. Sometimes that can work out really well and be geared towards something good like True Grit or Crazy Heart or something like that, or Hell or High Water, where that can be geared towards good, or it could be used for evil like R.I.P.D. or or this something like this movie, which is can complete caricature and really just silly. Um, so the whole statesman element I think could have been interesting. The fact that we have this American equivalent of the Kingsman there, like how the Kingsman is this American equivalent. And there's some cool elements like the stuff they have, like their gadgets is all about Western, because it's America, so it's all about the West, so it's like they wear cowboy hats and they have lassos and whips, and like they like one lasso has it's like a laser lasso where you see a scene in the trailer where Pedro Pascal like cuts some dude in half with it, and then he has like a retractable whip that he uses. I mean, some of that stuff is kind of cool, I guess. I mean, that's kind of interesting. And one thing I can say about this movie that does work really well is the action moments. That still works really well. Matthew Vaughn knows how to do that stuff really, really well. Like the beginning of the movie opens up with an action scene set to Prince's "Let's Go Crazy," and that's all really well done. I mean, that's really, really good. And there's a scene where Taron Egerton character raids a compound in the film. That's all really well done. I mean, I think that is really, really good. I mean, nothing I don't think comparable to something like the church scene in the first Kingsman, which was such a big moment. I mean, that action scene is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't think nothing tops that or is on that level like how it was in the first movie. That scene in the first movie, nothing comes close to that scene. But there still are some really good scenes in this movie that are really a lot of fun. So that's I think that's a benefit of this film. And then Terry Edgerton, who coming back for this film, he really works well as a lead, and a little bit even more so I think than someone like a James Bond character. I don't know. I mean, like watching a lot of the Bond movies, it's like he's kind of a sociopath. He doesn't really have any attachments to anything. You don't really know much about him. He kind of just goes through from next mission to next mission to next mission, just doing completely different things. So you don't really know much about him. And that, I guess that's badass too, but someone like Taron Egerton's character, who you see that he has a girlfriend and him trying to balance having a girlfriend and trying to be a spy at the same time, and how much he really cares about his girlfriend, how much he really cares, he has friends, how much he really cares about his friends, how much he misses Colin Firth's character, because that was like his mentor, his father figure, how much he really misses him. By the way, who his girlfriend in this film is, did you finish the first Kingsman, though? You said you only saw half of it, or did you finish all of it?
We didn't get that far in that movie. Like I said, it had a slow build up. If we would have gotten to like the meat of it all, then we probably would have kept watching, but never got that far.
Okay, well, if anybody saw Kingsman, like the woman he had sex with at the end of Kingsman, she comes back in this movie. She's still his girlfriend. So that's and I don't know if that was done because there was a lot of controversy during the first Kingsman with that scene at the end where he has anal sex with her at the end, and that was like a big kind of a little bit of a controversy at the end. That in the church scene, but that was also kind of mixed in there well with the controversy for that movie. So she's back as his girlfriend, and I don't know if that was done because it was such a big thing about it, or because they just thought, okay, yeah, naturally that would continue on. So that was interesting, and like I said, he has these emotional attachments that do really make you care about him, and that do make you really like him. And how does like how difficult that would be to be a spy and to balance both your lives like that. And and like I said before, and that's kind of the only really good things about this movie is, like I said, the lead and the action scenes. And getting to the cons of this film, I think that the runtime, first of all, this movie is kind of way too long. I mean, this movie is 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I heard Matthew Vaughn had like a 4 hour cut of this movie. So, I mean, and I mean, I can't imagine sitting through this movie like for 4 hours. Like, I can't imagine doing that because I mean, it's already so much shit going on in here. that kind of is really stupid, and I'm like, I can't imagine sitting through this for 4 hours. So I guess if when it comes out on DVD, if they're gonna release like that 4 hour cut, I don't know. I don't know who would be interested to see that much. Also, there's like a cameo in this film. I don't know. I don't know if it's quite a spoiler to announce the cameo, but it works for a little bit, but then it keeps going and going and going, and it kind of ruins a little bit of that cameo, and it kind of ruins it. I mean, it comes in, it's funny at spots, but then it just keeps going, and it just really just runs out of steam quick. I think Julianne Moore compared to her villain character compared to like someone like Samuel Jackson, who's such a like this unique, different villain. I think she's okay. I think she has nice little quirks about her. The fact that she uses puns, stuff like that. I think that's a nice little, she has kind of like this very joyful kind of demeanor. That's a little, I guess, a little nice, I guess. The fact, I mean, Julianne Moore, she's a veteran actress, and she's, it's hard to find a movie she's not good in. And she's decent here. She doesn't really have
So better than Samuel Jackson?
No, because she doesn't really have much time to work with. Like Samuel Jackson, you really spent, I think, a lot more time with that villain character than you do with her. I mean, so I think that's a little bit of a mistake. Like you don't really spend as much time with her, and probably because, in the first movie you didn't have the statesman, you didn't have all these other characters that you gotta build up as well. You know what I mean? So, she doesn't really get that much time.
Okay.
And there's a lot of also really kind of heavy-handed social political commentary in here a little bit. Like the president of this movie basically is Trump, basically. You know what I mean? Like he's,
Oh God.
And the fact that Julianne Moore, she runs this big drug cartel, and there's moments where she talks about, I'm a criminal, but alcohol is way more dangerous for you. People sell sugar, but sugar is 8 times more addictive than heroin or cocaine. Or why isn't that illegal? So
I agree with that, by the way.
So there's little things like that that come in, and which was happened a little bit in also the first Kingsman. But it didn't feel as heavy handed there as I think it did here. And they do, and like what sequels do sometimes, is they do try to do a lot of callbacks to the first movie. Like there's the bar scene in this movie, the Golden Circle, like there was in the first movie with the bar scene. But that scene just kind of doesn't feel organic at all, and it's just kind of just like, what the hell is this even doing here? But like I said, I think there's some good action scenes in here. Terry Edgerton really works. But it just, I mean, I see some people are split about it. Some people say they really like it. Some people say, oh, yes. I mean, if you like the first Kingsman, you like this one. I like the first Kingsman. I didn't really like this one all that much. I think it's something they should just wait to come on DVD or on TV, something like that. So I'd still say give it a thumbs up, but wait till it comes on DVD. Wait till it comes on TV, because I don't think you're missing much by not seeing this in theaters. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know, and if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on Soundcloud and YouTube at The Afternoon Tune. You can also find us through various social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all one word at The Afternoon Tune. And if you don't deal with any of that social media stuff, you can also find us through our email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. And don't forget to always stay tuned.